In this review of the week's news, petitions were presented, school construction commenced, roads reopened, and children ran cross-country. This is CTV News Week in Review. I'm Grant Mangan. Alan Ray, the consultant behind the design of the CTV building, escaped disciplinary action after quitting the engineer's professional body. Now his employee David Harding, who helped with the design, has followed suit. Emma Cropper has the story.
With just over a week before his disciplinary hearing, David Harding, the engineer who designed the failed Canterbury television building, has quit the industry's professional body, leaving those who've been fighting for justice frustrated.
Well, I'm disappointed, but he's just following suit from Alan Ray. Alan Ray gets away with it. Dave Harding gets away with it.
Marianne Jackson was CTV's only employee to make it out of the building alive after it collapsed on February 22nd, 2011, killing 115 people, 16 of those from CTV. David Harding was the engineer employed by Alan Ray Consultants to help with the design of the building when it was built in 1986. And today, the Institution of Professional Engineers New Zealand says they received a letter of resignation from Mr Harding, leaving the IPENZ unable to make an order against Mr Harding in one of two disciplinary hearings scheduled for later this month. But Marianne Jackson believes those higher up the food chain are also responsible for the faulty building design.
Dave Harding was just doing what he was told to do by Alan Ray, and Alan Ray needs to take responsibility for not overseeing him, and he put him in a far too responsible position for what he was capable of.
A report by the Canterbury Earthquakes Royal Commission found the CTV building had serious design and construction flaws. It also noted Mr Harding was working beyond his competence. He was left largely unsupervised by Alan Ray, despite limited experience designing multi-level buildings.
I just don't know how they sleep at night. You know, why don't they just admit it, that they're in the wrong? They did the wrong thing.
But resigning from IPENZ doesn't mean they've got away with it. Working with engineers from America, the police are currently investigating the collapse and are yet to release their report.
I know they're not going to be off the hook. They might think they are, but they're not. They've got a long way to go yet.
A group of 60 family and friends of those who lost their lives in the building will continue to fight for justice and accountability. But February 22nd will always sit in the back of the survivors' minds, especially on days like today.
Different times it affects me, but today it is. And I don't know why, maybe just different times it does affect you, other days it's fine, but it's not a day that goes past that you don't think about them all.
Mr Harding will still face a disciplinary hearing on July 14th regarding his reassessment for continued registration as a chartered professional engineer. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
A petition against Silver Fern Farms discharging waste into the Waimakariri River has been handed over to Environment Canterbury's Chief Executive. Marcus Gibbs was there.
Handing over more than 2,000 signatures to Environment Canterbury. Retired farmer and recreational fisherman Mac McAlwain launched an online petition last week. The aim was to stop the Silver Fern Farms from acquiring Environment Canterbury's consent to discharge wastewater into the Waimakariri River.
I think it's a simple issue. And it's as simple as this is morally and ethically the wrong thing to do, and I'll do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen.
I think it's great that Mac and his team have brought the petition in today, feed it into the process, and I think it reflects a lot of people's concerns about taking steps backwards with the Waimakariri River.
A statement from Silver Fern Farms Chief Executive Keith Cooper says the company would only do this during extreme circumstances, such as flooding when the Christchurch City Council's wastewater network is unavailable and there's no room to store the waste on site. Silver Fern Farms last discharged treated effluent to the Waimakariri River a month ago. Before that, they dumped wastewater in early May. The maximum amount the company plans to dump on one day is about 3,500 cubic metres. That's the equivalent of 350,000 litres of wastewater. These discharges relate to the earthquake damage to the city's wastewater network.
And the impacts of the earthquakes have caused Silver Fern Farms to exercise the consent that they held into the river. None of us want that to happen. It's now a matter of working through how quickly can we fix it.
This group represents the 2,000 who oppose the consent application. They're worried about the environmental impacts the discharge will have on the fish living in the river.
With the intense pollution, it would give a cause for concern of what else you're getting along with your fish. Yeah. And it certainly ain't chips.
Couldn't have picked a more important place to make discharges into. It's one of the most highly fished waters in the South Island.
At 5 o'clock tonight, submissions on the resource consent application closed. In the next few months, the submissions will be received by commissioners before a decision is reached. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Despite controversy over a proposed Christian school in Rolleston, construction has started.
Digging into rural township ground, this is the foundations of a brand new primary school. The Christian Schools Trust application for a 300 pupil school was approved by the Ministry of Education after controversy over its consent. Trust Chief Executive Mark Larson says construction began this week and he's excited for the building development to begin.
We were out there yesterday turning the first turf for the building, so they're laying the foundations as we speak.
The Christian Schools Trust aren't wasting time. Less than a month from receiving the Ministry of Education thumbs up, the work has already begun. The fast-growing town is only expected to get bigger. The Trust wants parents in Rolleston and nearby suburbs to have the choice of a Christian education. Mark Larson says the response from the community is positive, with many expressions of interest already registered.
We've got about 70 or 80 expressions of interest right up to Year 6, and we'll be talking to them in the next couple of months.
It hasn't been easy for the Trust. Trouble around getting resource and building consent started with mixed view submissions to the Selwyn District Council. The main issues were around infrastructure, traffic and parking. After a hearing on the school's application, consent was granted.
Yeah, really it was just the traffic issues, I think, and the fact that the school was proposed to be 600. They've decided out there 300 at this stage and then maybe come back later and apply for another 300 somewhere down the track.
The Rolleston Christian Primary School will house 150 pupils from years 1 to 6 in Stage 1. Stage 2 will see another 150 pupils in a second building as the roll increases. Expansion plans to 600 pupils is in the pipeline if there proves to be a need. The school will be state integrated. The Trust will own and pay for the buildings, and the Ministry of Education covers its operating costs and teachers' salaries.
The deal with the government with integrated schools is that you can have up to 10% what they call non-preference enrolments, and those are families who may not attend a church but do want their kids to attend a Christian school. We're looking at 5 to 10% at Rolleston.
The school will be built on Springston-Rolleston Road on a 2-hectare site. The new Rolleston school plans to be opened for the beginning of Term 1 2015.
We're very excited. It's been an 8-year process. We're getting into the last 6 months now and we're all on track to start Term 1 next year.
The newly appointed principal is to be announced later this week. Joelle Bautista, CTV News.
Labor announced changes they plan to make to Canterbury's health sector, including doubling the number of mental health nurses working in schools.
Doubling the number of mental health workers in schools is Labor's solution to the ongoing impacts of the earthquakes for young people. In Canterbury, there are only 3 full-time mental health nurses for 80 schools. Labor's health spokesperson, Annette King, says there are increasing numbers of young people with mental health issues that providers are struggling to cope with the extra demand.
There's been a 20% increase in mental health cases in Canterbury and around a 40% in reported cases for young people in this area.
Labor also announced today their $12.5 million commitment to building health hubs in Rangiora and Akaroa. Prime Minister John Key turned the sod on Rangiora's new health precinct in North Canterbury at the end of May. The government plans to have the $7 million facility integrated with the hospital as a family health centre. Labor's health spokesperson, Annette King, says the government's promises simply aren't good enough.
The truth is that this government has reduced the health budget in real terms, 5 out of the 6 budgets they've announced, and in Treasury's own figures going forward, in the next 3 years, they intend to cut the budget each year. It's gone beyond the pale. We need to ensure that there's adequate funding going into health services. New Zealanders demand it, they want it, and they deserve it.
Annette King says nearly 4 years on, the people of Canterbury are still struggling with the effects of the earthquakes. Another announcement made by Labour was to ensure after-hours general practice services are available.
It's interesting, this part of it, because the government has announced that they are going to fund free GP visits, including after hours, for up to 13 years of age. But they haven't put any funding to do that in Rangiora.
Annette King says it's about allowing Cantabrians to get on with their lives, having access to key services is a part of that. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Coming up, ski fields closed and the Summit Road opened.
Join me, Jude Kirk, every weekday as I share with you some of the best shopping in Canterbury.
Are you looking for more from your local channel? CTV are online. Our latest listings, on-demand shows, program information, all on the CTV website. We'll see you there.
Blackwells has a proud history presenting leading vehicle brands, extensive backup and service for a total one-stop driving experience. Holden, Mazda and HSV new and used vehicle sales, servicing, parts, paint and panel, Isuzu truck sales and service, all together in one convenient location. More selection, more value, more quality and more reasons to make Blackwells your number one choice. Visit Blackwells today, corner Waterloo Racecourse Road, Sockburn, or online at blackwells.co.nz.
Missed a show or want to watch it again? CTV is fitting in with your lifestyle. Be in control with CTV On Demand. Check out our website and follow the links. ctv.co.nz.
Welcome to Caltex Redwood. We're a family-owned business proudly supporting our local community. We're open 24/7 for fuel and shop goods, and we have an amazing team of people ready to help you. Save at least 6 cents per litre using AA Smart Fuel cards. We also offer great value on our LPG bottle fills. We have a full workshop and Bridgestone Tyre Centre. Our mechanics and tyre technicians will get your car sorted. Caltex Redwood. We're just down from St Bede's on Main North Road. Caltex Redwood. What drives you?
Hi, I'm Caitlin, the naturopath here at Staywell Pharmacy. Working with the pharmacist, I use herbal and nutritional medicine to recommend natural alternatives for your health. This can be to counteract any side effects of your medication, general health advice, or natural options for you and your family. I'm also available for consultations. So come in and see us at Staywell Pharmacy, 27 Shands Road, Hornby. Staywell Pharmacy, live well, stay well.
Meet the people behind the biggest political stories and scandals of recent times and discover a different perspective. People in Politics. Monday afternoon at 1:30, CTV.
A section of the Summit Road reopened this week to Christchurch cyclists, walkers and runners.
A favourite place for many, the Port Hills boasts beautiful city views and great recreational walks. A section of Summit Road between the Rapaki and Bridle Path tracks opened today, the first time since the earthquakes. City leaders were there on a tandem bicycle, excited for the gates to be open for cyclists, walkers and runners once more. The Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority Chief Executive Roger Sutton, a keen cyclist himself, is thrilled the Christchurch outdoors enthusiasts have more of the Port Hills to explore.
The Christchurch people bike up on the Port Hills is always, a huge thing. And have another part of the Port Hills open, a really nice part of the Port Hills open, is going to make a real difference to a lot of people. It's fantastic.
Tracks reopening include Whakaropo, part of the Crater Rim walking track, and the bike track between Bridle Path and Castle Rock. The Christchurch City Council's Chief Executive, Dr. Carleen Edwards, says she grew up exploring the hills and says getting out in the outdoors is part of Cantabrians' DNA.
This is a fantastic opportunity for the community. We're really excited in the sense that it opens up more recreational amenities for our community, which they said that they mourned the loss of after the earthquake. So it opens it up to cyclists and pedestrians and runners and people who just want to bring their families up here and enjoy the great outdoors.
The track has been closed since the earthquakes due to significant rockfall risk. Work has been done addressing geotechnical hazards, and where possible, the rocks have been moved to safer spots nearby. The park's operation manager, Ross Campbell, says Cantabrians have an affinity with the Port Hills. It's the backdrop of the city.
Opening this part of the road, it enables people to do a loop. They can come up and go down a different way. It opens up another bigger variety of experience for walkers and cyclists. It's huge.
Encouraging more to take advantage of Canterbury's natural beauty, Sierra's Chief Executive Roger Sutton says he often cycles on the hills and loves Summit's road's boundless opportunities for adventure. Roger Sutton says it's not just about rebuilding the infrastructure in Christchurch, it's about celebrating every good announcement.
Yeah, we're going to get great new facilities in the city, but some of these facilities have always been on the Port Hills, I think are really important, and we need to continue to make sure we look after them and grow them so people can really enjoy part of Christchurch, which really, I think, defines the city.
The road will not be open to cars in the near future due to severe roading repairs that need to be done. Joelle Bautista, CTV News.
A wet winter is washing away Canterbury's snow, closing most of the region's ski fields.
Rain, rain, go away. Canterbury ski field operators want wintry weather without the sight of rain. Canterbury ski resorts have been forced to close due to a lack of snow. They are hoping that will soon change. Porter's ski area, Round Hill, Mount Dobson, Ohau and Broken Hill are all closed for business. Mount Hutt is the only regional ski area with their gates open. James McKenzie, Mount Hutt's area manager, says the ski resort is relying on snowmakers to keep them open. The most recent snowfall at Mount Hutt was almost a month ago on the 6th of June. James McKenzie says the rain washed away most of the snow dumping. While ski field operators pray for colder weather, Met Service is forecasting a southerly front to hit Canterbury on Wednesday. Cold temperatures are expected on Wednesday, rain and snow down to 400 metres. A Met Service spokesperson is expecting scattered snow showers. The snow level will continue to drop as the week progresses. Good news for ski fields. Joelle Bautista, CTV News.
In Redwood this last week, door handles went missing from 4 retail stores.
It's not your average Nancy Drew case. A thievery in Redwood has seen door handles stolen from local stores' doors. CTV News went to the scene of the inconvenient crime. Michelle Taylor owns Presents Gift Shop, one of the stores targeted in last week's burglary.
It's quite bizarre, really. It's like, to me, it's either someone really bored or maybe for scrap metal, because it didn't look like a break-in because all 4 of them have been done.
The doorknobs aren't of great value. Brass is approximately $5 a kg and aluminium only $1 a kilogram. Michelle Taylor had to get in an extra pair of hands to repair the damages. To replace the handles cost the business owner $58, an inconvenient price to pay for another's boredom. A nasty trick or a local crime, Michelle Taylor was caught by great surprise.
Oh, I can't get in. So I rang my husband and he sent someone over to break into my shop, and so I could open up for the day. And then I realised while he was away getting some more door handles that the back door handle had gone as well, and so did all the 4 shops in this block. Every one of them had been tampered with or taken.
After having a good laugh at the amateur crime, Michelle Taylor doesn't want any more trouble for the local Redwood stores.
Initially, I was a wee bit, fragile that morning, so initially I went, oh my God, type thing. But then I had a bit of a laugh about it after it all calmed down, and you realise it was quite a funny, bizarre thing to happen.
Joelle Bautista, CTV News.
Still to come, children were cutting their hair and running cross-country this week.
Red and Black Sports Match of the Day in the Press Cup this week. It's on our screen, Sunday 12:30, 5:30 replay on the day, and 7 o'clock next Thursday night. Catch the match.
Have you seen something you like? You can purchase a copy of CTV's own shows so you can watch them again and again. So give us a call on 3777 033 and order a copy today.
Hi, I'm Steve and welcome to Carpet Kingdom. At Carpet Kingdom we stock a massive range of carpets and we're also the largest vinyl stockist in the South Island. And not only do we have an excellent range in store, but you can purchase our stock online. We offer free measuring quotes, we have our own installation team, we ship nationwide, so come on down and see us at Carpet Kingdom, 312 Wilsons Road in Waltham, just off Brougham Street, or visit us online at carpetkingdom.co.nz.
Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526.
Christchurch has its very own enchanted utopia, the Hitching Post. Pop in and see for yourself. A magical assortment of handmade creations, custom-made candles and artwork. Choose from our huge range of water features, garden art and imported giftware. Specialists in handcrafted metal artwork made in store. Nestled on 722 Marshlands Road, the Hitching Post, defining art our way.
Spectacular rugby being played in the Press Cup 2014. Get your copy. DVDs available. Call right now, $29.95. Flash News 7 at Red and Black Sport gets a new title as well, but we'll still be talking every week to the movers and shakers in sport. Red and Black Sport, Monday night, 7:30 here on CTV.
Nearly 200 local children took part in the Junior Cross Country Championships. Emma Cropper was at the finish line.
By the dozens, they lined up ready to tackle tough terrain and chilly winter conditions.
If it's very windy, it makes it a little bit harder, but otherwise cools you down when you're running.
That didn't stop 160 students taking part in today's cross-country championships.
Go!
The Year 7 and 8 students were fighting for a top 10 placing, making them eligible for the Canterbury Primary School's cross-country representative team. But while Canterbury's weather plagued them with a chilly 9 degrees, those who were waiting to race did their best to keep warm.
I always want to keep warm before the race and just get ready and don't pull any muscles or get cramped during the race so we can go faster.
And one by one they crossed the finish line of the 3-kilometre race at Roto Kohata Reserve.
How are you guys feeling? Shattered. Tired. Exhausted.
Some so exhausted they could no longer stand. But like all school events,
Good boy, keep going.
the proud parents didn't mind donning their gumboots and cheering on their children from the sidelines.
Oh, absolutely not. It's all part of the fun, isn't it?
This muddy winter sport being a great way to keep children active in winter.
Well, it's pretty important. It keeps their fitness up and, it's just a good winter sport.
For those who nabbed themselves a top 10 placing to head into the next round, training is only going to become harder from here.
A lot of them do a lot of training and the ones that do make the team will do even more training.
Those moving on to the next round will be training with a coach before their big race in Hanmer Springs in September. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Teenage girls at a local school were cutting off their hair for a good cause this week.
Gone are these long golden locks. Ruby O'Neill said goodbye to her long hair today.
What do you think of your new hairstyle again?
It's really light and different. Like I'm used to it being real heavy.
But this wasn't just a regular haircut. Over 25 teenage girls at Marion College cut their hair off for a good cause.
We have girls at school who have been through cancer and have alopecia, so it's kind of a way to give back to them.
And while they nervously lined the school yard,
I'm just hoping that I won't get a bob. I really don't want a bob, but it's probably inevitable.
One by one, they took to the cutting chair.
I've never really had short hair, but it's for a good cause, so why not?
The event was all in honour of one special student and friend. Libby Galbraith's a Year 13 student at Marion College. She was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia 3 years ago.
When Libby was diagnosed, it didn't just hit her, it hit the whole school. Like, we're a school of just over 400 girls, so it's good to see that when she's overcome her cancer, the school is still getting behind and supporting her.
She had to give up rowing and needed treatment for 2.5 years before being given the all clear last June.
It's an honour to have these girls get behind and help, not just me, but people like me. And it's really cool that they can see that this is a need and this is a cause, and that it's amazing how willing people are to do something for other people.
This isn't the first time the school has shown support to Libby. This was the entry for Stage Challenge this year. Titled Libby's Story, 46 students recreated her journey through movement.
Yeah, it was a pretty emotional night seeing it performed and watching it with my parents and stuff. It was just a really cool way that my story could be, portrayed in such a positive way as well.
While these girls are nervous about cutting their hair short, a major milestone for Libby was growing her own hair back. CTV News caught up with Libby 5 months ago as she was adjusting to having long hair again.
The only thing for me that made me feel like a cancer patient was the fact that I had no hair. And when it grew back, I remember the first time I got told off at school for having my hair out because it was too long. I was ecstatic. It was the best thing ever.
The students' hair isn't being wasted. It's being sent to Freedom Wigs in Dunedin to become a temporary hairdo for others. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
A new biosecurity dog started on the job at Christchurch International Airport this week. Marcus Gibbs met her and her handler.
Meet 2-year-old Helga. This young Labrador pup is as close as it comes to becoming a super dog. Her new job is to sniff out exotic pests and diseases, posing a biosecurity risk to New Zealand.
So how does the training work?
So they're trained to find risk items like apples and bananas or fruit in bags. So if you can imagine these were passengers' bags, the command when I hit the bag is seek. That's to draw her focus on to start sniffing the bag, and then to guide her around to sniff around the bag to try and find the target odour that she might be looking for.
Kimberly and Helga are the newest of 5 detector dog teams based in Christchurch, working at both the airport and Littleton Port. Together these two will soon be scrutinising flights and cruise ships arriving in the Garden City.
We try and keep them highly motivated between these are pods, but if you could imagine the bags, that's why it's, let's go over here, round this way to guide her around the bag. So it's the commands to kind of keep her focused and keep her searching. So that's why we move in the way that we do around the bags, to give them every opportunity to sniff.
Dogs are good at picking up seeds and plants that can be hard to detect by X-ray. It's important they pick up fruit and vegetables like apples. Canterbury doesn't want fruit flies down here.
What they can find is amazing. Like, they can find a tiny seed in a huge suitcase, and that seed could be, the blackgrass seed that you don't want in the country.
With more tourists arriving in Christchurch, these dogs are essential. They can screen people faster than an X-ray machine, and their visual presence works as a deterrent.
Tourists are bringing through everything. Most tourists want to bring a little bit of home with them, and a lot of people are coming here to actually see relatives, so that they're bringing food and fruit and plant products that you might not be able to get in New Zealand.
Helga has already sniffed out a bag of pork, and other dogs have recently made a large find.
We found seeds that had actually been sown in the lining of the jacket, and these were seeds that weren't allowed in New Zealand, so it was a really good find for the dogs.
Despite her intimidating presence when sniffing out trouble, Helga is a normal dog at heart.
She is very much a puppy, and you know, we're working at the moment at building up like her stamina because it's exhausting for them to work all day. Like she's got to be focused and on the job. So we're only working like 10 to 20 minutes and then a rest, and then 10, 20 minutes work or so and a rest, because it's a lot of thinking and working for her.
Because of their unique day job, these dogs can't go home with their handlers at night.
They're trained to actually sniff out food, fruit, meat. Now, most households, apart from maybe a student flat, doesn't actually, have food, fruit or meat. So if they go home, they'll constantly be sitting, constantly be trying to be rewarded because there's food and fruit everywhere.
However, with beagles and other labs to play with, life is never dull for Helga. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Hey. That's CTV News Week in Review. I'm Grant Mangan. Have a great weekend.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.